my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
I have a dream. My poor little children one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their
Don't
character.
tell me words don't matter. I have a dream. Just words. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. Just words. We have nothing to fear but fear itself. Just words. Just speeches. Don't tell me words don't matter.
All the rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all sight shall see it.
As you know, as I told you in the last class, I am a paramedic, and I spent the day actually doing my paramedic refresher. And when I was there, I told her what I was doing this evening, and she sent shirts for everyone, and which I have stacked up back there. But anyway, we're going to do, I'm actually going to teach you hands-only CPR. Doesn't require any breathing, you don't have to do any breathing techniques. But first, I'm going to tell you a little bit about CPR statistics. As you can see, sadly, 70% of Americans feel helpless to act during a cardiac event, because normally you're at home and it's a witnessed event, and I'm talking about a sudden cardiac event. If you watch somebody fall down, we're going to walk over, and if you feel comfortable, you're going to do CPR. Your actions can only help. Don't be afraid. Now I'm afraid standing up here, but don't be afraid. If you see an unresponsive adult who's not breathing or not breathing normally, check for a pulse, call 911, and begin by pushing hard and fast on the center of the chest. Now this is not the same as a heart attack. When they're calling 911 and they're actually having chest pain and they're talking to you and able to tell you that they're having a heart attack, it's not the same. So they go 911, and this is when the person is absolutely down on the ground, unresponsive. They're more common than you think, and they can happen to anyone, anytime. Annually, there are 393,000 out of hospital sudden cardiac arrests. Many victims appear healthy with no known heart disease or risk factors. African Americans are twice as likely to experience this at home, work, or another public location, and their survival rate is twice as before. 52% were women, and 83% are age greater than 65. The life you save, maybe someone you love, and you're going to be at home. And I know this. It's somebody that I know twice now it's happened to me. I didn't know CPR at the time, but I learned CPR, and it's probably because of him. It was my best friend. I went next door and found him unresponsive on the floor. I didn't know what to do. I called 911 and they said, "Do you want to help him?" And I'm like, "I can't, I'm afraid." So it's not as bad as you think. The second one was the neighbor came over and called me in the middle of the night. "Tammy, come over here, the baby." So I go rushing next door, and the mother had actually fallen asleep on the couch with her 3-month-old, and it actually rolled over and smothered. And I did what I could, but unfortunately he was already cyanotic, which is actually a blue color, and so there was no way, but I did what I could. So I did compressions, and I actually did breathing, so you do what you can. But this is something that you can do. The AED that they speak of, it's a machine. There may even, I don't know if they have any on campus, but they might. I've seen them at airports. I've seen them at grocery stores. It actually says AED, and that's an automatic external defibrillator, and that's something that the layman can use. You can walk up, take it off the wall. The instructions are inside. You open it up. Some of them will come on automatically. Otherwise, you can just push a button off and on. Failure to act is what leads to an unnecessary death. So, effective bystander CPR, provided immediately after sudden arrest, can double or triple a victim's chance of survival. But only 32% of cardiac arrest victims get CPR from a bystander. And that's because you're afraid to help them. You don't even realize that by just doing the compressions, you are circulating the actual oxygenated blood that they already have in their body. American Heart Association says, as I said, sadly, less than 8% of people who suffer cardiac arrest outside the hospital survive. American Heart Association trains more than 12 million people CPR annually just to equip them with the basic skills. They do this out at the stadium. They have it once a year. 4,000 or 5,000 people show up and they have just one big giant CPR. I'm going to show you just the basics here. There can be more to it. I learned, we were talking about it today, I even asked about it. Normally it's 30 and 2, that's the 30 and 2 breaths. For an infant, it's 15 and 2. But we're just going to do today if you walk up on somebody that falls out in a hospital, we're just going to do some chest compressions. All right, so we're going to practice the song now. Now comes the fun part. I actually asked Zach before the class if he would help me, so he said he would come up and help me do chest compressions.
Suddenly collapse. It's important to act fast. Helping to save a life is easier than you might think. Just start hands-only CPR. The first step is to send someone to call 911 or call 911 yourself. Then get directly over the victim. Put the heel of one hand in the center of the chest. Then put your other hand on top of the first. Then push hard and fast in the center of the chest until help arrives. It's important to push at a rate of at least 100 beats per minute, which is about the same tempo as the song Staying Alive. Let's hope you never have to use hands-only CPR, but if you see a teen or adult suddenly collapse, don't be afraid to try it. Remember, call 911, then push hard and fast in the center of the chest until help arrives. Your actions can help save a life.
Okay, so we're going to be here. Come in here. Great. I'd like to do one more. Yeah. Talk about the ribs breaking. You might hear that on older people, young people, 20, 30, probably wouldn't hear mine. But an older person, you're going to crack ribs. Don't worry about it. They're going to be alive. That's okay. This is the 100 I found out. 100 straight, you're going to be tired, and hopefully by then someone will be there to relieve you. Okay, now take a rest. Take a pulse. Right here, we're going to come from our body. Right here. That's when you give breath. I'm not sure if any of you know umpire Jim Joyce. Do you know who that is? He's a major league umpire, baseball. I'm sure if I don't know anything about it. All I know, he may not be, there's some people that are not happy with him. I think he ruined somebody's perfect night. He was pitching baseball. But I can tell you that he did save the life of someone at the ballpark. She happened to be having sudden cardiac arrest, and he arrived and he performed CPR to Staying Alive while he was singing, while he was doing chest compression. So he saved a life. So, like I said, may not be great. According to that guy, may not be a great umpire, but he saved a life, and that makes him a superstar. All right?